I forgot to record the intro for like the you'll see for the video, so we're gonna make it now. Hi, I hope you're having a good day. I hope you watch the video all the way through, and just that's it. I don't know. Have a good day. Watch the video, and I hope nothing but the best. Okay, we're gonna react to another one. This will probably be the last one, and it'll be it's called The Intruders. It's for Anomaly again. Remember, support the original creator. Everything you see here is fake. I gotta say the disclaimers because YouTube hates me. Let's continue. Okay, so knowing that this is called a real intruder and somebody's going room to room, it looks like they're either heard something or they're suspicious of something in their house. That's what I'm assuming. They've been recording for 2 minutes now on this what seems to be a handheld camcorder. Okay, yeah, but you're back in this room. Why? Oh, all the movement. I don't know if this is our camera guy making all this movement or if it's something else. Back on the stairs. I think it's supposed to say like he's transitioning to the next room. Okay. This is a national alert. All citizens are required to remain vigilant due to the let me actually read this. Due to the escape of an extremely dangerous entity, the government mandates the following preventative actions. Failure to comply with this with which may result in the impersonation or interment due to immediate biological risk. Cancel any public funerals, remove all mannequins from commercial stores, burn any photographs that include human beings, remove all mirrors from homes, buildings, hospitals, commercial establishments, etc. Every individual must carry a visible document of identification at all times, both outside and inside home. Jesus Christ. Dr. Andrew Becker. Let me wait for this. We have been monitoring an entity for the past 2 months. We have enclosed it in a 4-meter thick concrete container and monitoring it with an internal camera. The entity appears to be motionless, although we have found it in 2 different positions when not observing when not under observation. This is extremely bizarre, but despite lacking facial features, it seems to interact with the camera. Cam 1, 5:34 a.m. The following photographers were photographs. I can read. The following photographs were taken using different spectrums of light and revealed a strange face after a transformation that lasted almost 106 hours. Oh. Now that's the face. Dr. Andrew again. The entity remains always silent, however, some lobotomy. Some laboratory workers reported feeling that the figure spoke directly to them through the screens. HR and SD, the 2 permanent camera monitors, had to be wait. HR and SD, the 2 permanent camera monitors, had to be hospitalized in critical condition after 3 weeks. So whatever is said to them just immediately flatlines their brain. In strange, infectious, and enormous tumors rapidly spread across their faces. Oh. HR and SD, yeah. I know that's fake, but that's still just gross to look at. Jesus Christ.
Justement parce que quelque chose se manifeste qui n'est tout de même strictement inséré.
Jacques Lacan, éminent psychiatre français, a mené tout au long de sa vie une enquête intense sur l'ontologie.
Let's mute her so we're not clashing. I cannot say that. Lankin, renowned French psychiatrist, conducted an intense, lifelong inquiry into the ontology, linguistics, and psyche of the truths of reality. His most famous theory was that of the three registries proposes a radical dimension of existence. My God, I can read today, dude. That we can only access indirectly through a traumatic encounter with the impossible. The real is a structure exclusive to the mind where existence is shaped, the real, everyday reality.
Où l'existence...
Yeah, okay, let's not clash voices still. By parameters that defy understanding, man in his infinite interest to go beyond himself could accidentally create one. I'm assuming create a catastrophic breach if he attempted to cross the real. So the real is just entities that want to kill us regardless, is what it's seeming like. In the real, there is no identity, no figures. Only horror and uncertainty. Okay. Now we're hearing sirens. This is the same house we saw in the beginning being, like, monitored, followed, checked out. Like, I don't know. It looks too clean for somebody to be living. It's only a bedroom we've seen. And the living room, which seems way too nice. Is that supposed to be the flash from a camera? Okay, it was. Now, this is someone's actual home. That's gore. Somebody got schmurdered up in here. That's one of the real. Is it gonna jump scare us? There's a couple seconds left. Don't jump scare us. Don't do it. So, yeah, okay. So that was that. And honestly, I liked that. It was pretty cool. I liked the fact that they brought in the they did that with the I think it was the full moon, the fake moon, or false moon, or one of those names. They did that where they brought in like the actual like an actual speech from an actual physicist, and they were like, and they brought it into their thing. But I don't know if he was actually talking about that, about the real and all that. I don't know if that's real or not, but it seemed real. It seemed cool. I do like that, right? Because it adds more tension and more actual like factors into it, and it's not just here's some creepy pictures, here's some creepy words, and some dialogue that seems made up. I do like that, right? And then the real factors, the fact that you need different light spectrums to see their face was also cool. But what didn't make sense was the fact it's like, oh yeah, once we access the real, they just want to kill us. But they don't steal they don't steal the identity, they don't do anything else, they just want to kill us. And then it's like, it's sure they implied they wanted to do that, but both times we saw when they didn't do that. They just kind of killed, well, the one didn't kill anyone, he was kind of just locked up, but the other one did. And I'm thinking maybe that they were the same ones, like they killed that person, then they locked up that reel, and then that's the one they were monitoring. But either way, that both of them did have a body count, so it didn't seem like it killed them and then took their possession or identity, it just seemed like they killed them. But either way, I liked it. It was a cool little simple horror. I think that's it. Remember, if you want to see more, watch all the way through. Like, subscribe. Have a good day, good afternoon, or good night. I'll see you in the next one. Okay, so yesterday I reacted to this. I reacted to the trailer for the reel, not the full thing. So we're gonna watch this. Remember, support the original creator, and hope you're having a good day. And let's get into this. So we're gonna skip because since we have seen this intro, it should be about here. Yep, here.
Qualified personnel in the treatment, study, safeguarding, and storage of endivi and theamin, the public scientific disclosure of which would constitute a tearing apart of the fabric of civilization.
So yes, we did watch this, the beginning, of this yesterday because I thought this was I thought it was a standalone thing. Nope, this is a full series that I was
Everyday reality
unaware
refers
of.
to the objective and tangible existence of the world around us, independent of our individual perceptions and beliefs. It encompasses all the events, objects, phenomena, and processes that make up the universe, including both the observable and the unobservable. Reality is characterized by its capacity to directly influence and impact our lives, and it can be studied and understood through different disciplines such as physics, biology, psychology, and philosophy. While our interpretations and understandings of reality may vary, reality itself is considered a fundamental and objective concept that exists beyond our individual
This could be
perception.
anything. It's a monster. Tape 2. Quest Q. I can't read that.
Dans la théorie de Jacques Lacan,
Okay.
le concept
I'm gonna turn down the volume so we're not clashing voices. Let me turn off subtitles real quick so it doesn't overlay again. In Jacob Marcus's theory, the concept of the real does not simply refer to the physical or material, but rather to a dimension of exists experience that is fundamentally inaccessible and distinguishable. Oh, disturbing. I can read the real. It can be fully comprehended by. It cannot be fully comprehended by language or the
langage ou les représentations
Damn, it's still okay. Representations we construct to make sense of the world. So, the real cannot be comprehended by our minds. For the French author, everyday reality is meditated by language and symbols that we use to represent it. Basically, dog equals dog, and it's a picture of a dog. This symbolic meditation creates a subjective experience of reality. Representation of love, and it's a heart. That is shaped by our beliefs. I can read, bro. Some and individual fantasies. The real, on the other hand, intruders into our lives in the way that intrudes into our lives in ways that discomfort us. I'm assuming, us, with the lack of corresponding between our representation and direct experience. The real, and then it's just death. It is which sustains the apparatus of existence itself. The real manifests itself through the inexplicable, which we saw in the beginning. The real manifested as a mannequin that started killing people, and that was the early 4 minutes. The incomprehensible and traumatic, and it is a disruptive force or being. Force that disrupts our illusion of control and mastery over the world. Also, I wanted to point out that face was pretty cool looking. Nice and gory, which is kind of weird to say, but like, a lot of these analog horrors either do way too much gore, or just not enough.
To understand what exists in this realm called the real, it is necessary to engage in the highest exercise of mental abstraction. While the real can be perceived through the senses and manifested in concrete objects, this is merely an imaginary way of being processed by the human mind, derived from what can be seen as an image.
This could be an imaginary.
Due to the physical limitations of the organism and the tendency towards the survival of subjective psychic experience, these phenomena present themselves through a collective and individual imaginary.
Human psychic experience can
These
only
supposed entities fracture existence and create an unassimilable gap after traumatic experiences or failures in the known reality. Warning: phenomena of the real may be collectively perceived as everyday objects. However, despite certain reports, Although many people may see the exact same thing, certain digital devices would interpret them differently, and some individuals
Drawing of what a child claimed to see instead of the same wooden cube. I feel like that's way too detailed for a kid, but I guess somebody could have drawn what he was describing.
would apprehend them with forms and characteristics that differ from those commonly described.
I'm sorry, photograph of the same cube taken in a laboratory. And now there's like meat wires in it. Personnel are advised to carry a unique identification document at all times, mandatory.
The real could even be interpreted by the mind in the form of a friend, a child, or any other person. Although the identification card is not foolproof, it has reported an effectiveness of 28% compared to other methods that have failed outright.
Identifying oneself through legal documents reduces the possibility of encountering a real by 28%.
It appears that the real primarily manifests in the human mind through organic entities. Rarely have
This woman has also been described like this by other people.
experiences with inanimate objects been reported.
It's just a
However,
bit of a
the
mouth.
latter have exhibited the most volatile, dangerous, and risky characteristics for maintaining the
Stability of reality.
Oh? The tape broke. They don't broke the tape. The real testing. This is a test that should only be... Okay, let me read it properly. This is a test that should only be undergone by authorized and personnel, and properly trained by personnel. Possession of this material outside scientific military supervision risks federal prosecution.
Next, practice personnel will be shown a photograph of an entity phenomenon, which has been concluded with 89% certainty to be real. The following image was captured after a fire and explosion at plastic factory in Ohio in 1978, where 14 people were fatally injured, and 10 others suffered irreversible lifelong consequences. Personnel are advised to observe the material under the following mandatory conditions. Failure to comply will result in capture and permanent quarantine at the study center facilities. Close doors and windows. Do not observe it between 5 p.m. and 11 p.m. A 70% occurrence of unpredictable effects has been reported during this time range. Do not be in the company of another human, as the real could take the form of your counterpart and transform them into a doppelganger. If you have been diagnosed with a psychotic disorder such as schizophrenia, schizophreniform disorder, major depression, or any type of personality disorder, the probability of experiencing a panic crisis or paranoid crisis has been reported at 45% compared to other mental disorders. If you cannot see anything, do not take your eyes off the image. The real could be in your visual apparatus, affecting an object or physical phenomenon in your surroundings. When the image is removed, close your eyes for 40 seconds.
I didn't even make sure my camera was lined up. It should be lined up. Observe with utmost care what would be reflected in the mirror. I'm not seeing anything in the mirror. Is it just gonna appear? Is it gonna be a jump scare? It looks like a normal bar. Okay, still nothing. There's still just a light bar counter or something on the bar. 35% of people claim to have seen nothing. 21% of people claim to have seen a chair that looks like this. 18% of people claim to have heard a voice inside their head. Okay. The 10% of people claim to have seen nothing behind the mirror, but they felt tremendous terror. What the fuck are you hitting me with, Ram? 9% of people claim to see a drawing something like this. 7% of people were never seen again. What? Just fucking die, I guess. Tape 5. Is my window? No, I didn't open my window. I should open my window so I have more light in this bitch. I hope you can see me. I didn't actually check. White mannequin, the most dangerous entity reported to date, 1989. Dr. Alexander Simard, head of the Department of Anomalous Reality Cases. Representing case... Well, no, we're going back. Representing case 0014Z21 regarding the white mannequin. The white mannequin was the one in the beginning. It killed 2 people. Technically 3.
It happened in Toronto in 1988.
They figured out in the beginning 2 white, like, different colors and light frequencies. No, different light, different varying colors of light will reveal what the mannequin actually looks like, because certain people can't see certain colors, so you can't actually see anything on the reel.
The workers of the renowned clothing store called Salvatore Boutique in the city's downtown area reported that, for several weeks, they found a series of mannequins in different positions inside the store.
Oh, this is something different.
The security cameras captured this, showing these figures in places where they shouldn't be.
You're just wondering what you're looking at, like... I'm gonna be honest, he's just looking at you like, what you looking at, fam? He's curious. She's curious. You looking at them? Why are you looking at them? Kinda weird. Like, they're not doing anything harmful, they just staring at the camera.
A few weeks after these curious occurrences, the death of 3 individuals was reported.
Never mind.
2 female employees of the clothing store and a passerby. This all happened on the night of June 10th. The footage of their deaths was captured by internal and external security cameras. Apparently, a figure with strange arms suddenly emerged from some of the store's mannequins and attacked the 2 women inside. A man who happened to be passing by also suffered a fatal fate. The police prohibited the disclosure of the audiovisual material. 3 weeks later, after an apparent calm in the activity of the mannequins, this image forced the permanent closure of the clothing store. Half a year later, the American Security Department requested the intervention of the Canadian government for the study of these mannequins. The team from the Department of Anomalous Reality Investigation Cases selected 2 of their top doctors to initiate the study of these strange creatures. They were kept in a laboratory 1 kilometer deep, in a specially contained room for observation purposes for several days. The examination of this mannequin revealed a series of issues, as despite the images showing the presence of muscular material inside it, as well as relatively human-like nervous tissue,
did they test the blood?
Some members of the medical team were emphatic in stating that they never saw what the images recorded. They claimed to have only examined an ordinary mannequin made of wood and metal, which they disassembled and found nothing unusual.
That's fucking weird, but it's also so cool looking. I wonder if it's the dead victims or if it's like that's what they actually look like. Yeah, because of the light spectrum thing again. That's cool. I don't know, I find that fascinating. It's like, these people can't see certain colors, so they can't freaking see the fact that it's actually this horrifying beast, and they just think it's a normal white mannequin.
This event led the department to conduct an exhaustive study of the nature of this entity, as well as all others that exhibited similar characteristics.
The interview. Next, we will represent... there's a burp. Next, we will represent excerpts from a transcript of interviews conducted with 3 prisoners sentenced to life imprisonment. Their names are Wilder Harrington, Sterling Donovan, and Prater Kazimirk. The latter was the one who provided the most relevant testimony for the investigation. Wilder, 40 years old. I don't know, man. I told you 3-4 times already I saw that damn thing move on the table during lunchtime. What the hell did you expect me to do? I know nobody gave a damn about my life or anyone else's in this goddamn world, but nobody wants to die like that. That thing could have attacked me. No, it wasn't just a damn chair. What the hell are you telling me? I saw how he tried to escape. It even told me the plan. I'm not surprised enough to fall for that crap, especially after seeing what you guys did to him in the cell with those black hooded men. No. Who the hell else could it be? He didn't die. Are you crazy? I saw him this morning. You think I'm a liar? What more do you need from a snitch? There were 4 of us. You already know the names. The idiots were munching on a piece of human intestines and nobody said a damn thing. I don't know where he got it from. I don't think he killed anyone. I don't think he's one of those, what do you call them? Oh yeah, cannibals. No, he wasn't eating an apple, man. I'm telling you, he had a piece of meat in his hand. I wasn't about to start a fight over such stupidity. You guys have surveillance cameras. I know what I saw. The other idiots must have inquired to get me locked up in isolation. No, it's just a headless mannequin. Tip 7. Classified material for internal use of the Department of Anomalies Reality Investigation cases. The chosen one for the clinical trials, age 52, name AA, divorced, occupation mechanic, name GRA, 55, married, occupation housewife, Farmington, Utah, medical kidney disease, fucking hell. HD, 41, married, occupation, veterinarian, Milwaukee, Utah. No, that's not Utah, it's something else. HF, 38, single, computer science, Pittsburgh, PA, history, thyroid disease. So we've seen one with kidney disease, thyroid disease, 58, single, JR, alcoholism. 28 single KR. Florida, medical history not specified. LD 31 single, occupation salesman, city New Haven, Connecticut, medical history diabetes. And W 28 single, student, city Sacramento, California, medical history no illnesses. OA 28 married, teacher, Eugene, Oregon. Medical history smoking. Alright, there's so many people, dude. They just put out a newspaper like, here, get fucking murdered, please. Like, GERD. What is GERD? I don't know. 18. Yeah, they had to put out a newspaper like, please come to our clinic and try these things. You'll get paid handsomely if you don't die. Tape 8. The 4 models of Jouistance, the prime mover of the real.
Jacques-Alain Miller, gendre.
Joachim Allen Miller, son-in-law and intellectual heir of... Oh, it's the scientist, dude, hold on. Of Jacques, I can't say his name, took up the master's final teachings, the last outlines of the theory he was working on before his death to approach the ultimate definition of the real. The most complex concept of his psychoanalytic work. Defining the real as something distant from sense and, moreover, different from knowledge. The real has no sense or knowledge. It operates according to a complex that should not be understood as a mere force, but rather as a concept divided into four models of actions, ranging from, I was like discourage, divided into four models of action, ranging from discourage to semblance of reality. Johanson's, or the way in which the real enjoys the bodies of reality. Yeah, it's another mannequin which is full of meat. The imagery Johanson's is understood as obstacle to prevent everyday reality as a barrier to the symbolic elaboration of individuals. Oh my god, it becomes impossible to call this an apple. It will be called something else. The imagination J is internalized in language and alters the linguo representing of the semblance. The significance of J. The significance of J involves the transparency of images into symbolisms. The apple is seen with characteristics that are not proper to it. It projects an image of itself that fits the weight that does not correspond to its nature. As if they were on its own, even though they do not belong to its original nature. The impossible J. The impossible J allows for a significance of J. Was that the apple? Why does it look like it have a knife? It doesn't. Does it have a knife, or am I stupid? This paradiagram implies a substitution of representing for defense. Repossession offense, and the disjunction between, oh my fucking god, I'm having a stroke, in the disjunction between the origin symbol and the real. When a disjunction occurs, a breaking of logic, the real emerges violently after a trauma. What? An ominous breach opens up in people's experience, bringing with it violence and physical or mental disturbance. The fragmented J. The fragmented J becomes fragmented in the physical drive's own object. This implies the impossible enters everyday reality through the formidable object of nonsense. Before individuals and collectively, this object is the presence of a whole. A void that allows as a breach the entrance into everyday reality. Tape 9. It happened in Spokane, Washington, 1990. Security camera in the woods. The wooded area is set up to protect animals. Noticed one night that some nocturnal creatures had disappeared. Suspicion fell on a couple of men who have been camping and having bonfires in protected areas of the park. They're gonna find them dead, aren't they? Security personnel went on to patrol the area after hearing some strange noises resembling explosions and chilling sounds. The recording didn't find significant evidence, and there was no traces of the campers. Until the cameras captured some rabbits that were in delicate conditions, apparently injured. Upon re-exploring the park and the nearby areas of the city, the following was discovered through body cameras. A white figure again. The mannequin found was returned to a nearby workshop that claimed it days later. However, the strange events didn't end. There was an inexplainable image were found on the... What was those first ones? What is that? It's just like a teeth... No. It's a teethy mushroom. A mushroom has teeth. Special images were found on the cameras. It looks like a dead dude. Another dead dude. Damn. His brain exposed and his mouth out. I kinda like this one already. Tape 10. Except the reading part kills me, because I can't read. The following commercial video was displayed for 6 months in 1956 on American television at random hours between 11 and 9:30 a.m. I have no breath. This could be yours. So they were, yeah, that's what okay. It was recruiting individuals and they were offering $10,000 and successful marriages, is what they were saying. Successful marriages is crazy. Okay, let's read that stuff, because I got distracted. Its purpose is to recruit individuals to track and study strange phenomena that mental health scientists were investigating outside public knowledge. 40 years later, the individuals... 40 years later, the individuals who submitted their applications, as well as their children and grandchildren, became part of the clinical trial program. That's why there were so many people, because they didn't start it until 40 years later. To prove empirical evidence of the real and study the postulates of Jacob Jacquizis, I'm just gonna call him Jack and Jack Allen Miller from a positive science perspective.
Dr. Alexander Samard presents to the scientific community of the Department of Anomalous Reality Investigation cases the clinical trial. 11 American citizens were chosen in 1991 to be directly exposed to certain objects that were captured due to their high probability of being corrupted by the real. For the safety of the department's personnel, the participants were isolated in heavily shielded rooms within the experimentation area. The objectives of the trial were as follows. First, to study the interaction of the objects with the human mind. Second, to study the physical implications of contact with the real. Third, to study the potential breaches that open up in the everyday world when the real is disturbed.
Wow. So they were really just trying to get these people killed, because there's no way they're surviving this. The following images were taken by surveillance cameras inside each of the containment cells. The images have lost quality due to the disruptions of the real. Subject A, Isolation Cell 1. There's just a mannequin sitting with him. He was ordered to stand for 3 hours next to a mannequin. Nothing happened to him. Isolated Cell 2. He was ordered to sit for 6 hours in front of a porcelain statue of a geese. Nothing happened to her. I feel like it's only when they mess with them. Isolated Cell 3. She was ordered to sit for 5 hours in front of a mannequin. Why does this one look different? After 4 hours, the mannequin started taking her form. That's why it looks different. And the woman began to fade away. So it just stole her entirely. HF, overwhelmed by panic, attempted to escape from Isolation Cell 4. He started screaming and exerting pain in his back. After an hour, he eventually melted into a black substance. Subject JR in the isolation cell 5 was ordered to brush his teeth with a charred complex. She was instructed to show the state of her teeth every 5 minutes. Eventually, she was unable to stand up again, and it rotted away her face. Her face started being eroded by the toothpaste. KR isolated in cell 6. He was ordered to sit next to a mannequin for 6 hours. Nothing happened to him. The mannequin simply adopted a similar posture. In isolation cell 7, as soon as he sat down, he transformed into a statue. NW isolation cell 8. He was ordered to sit for 3 hours in front of a porcelain statue of a goose. Nothing happened to him. So some of these are fine, and other ones, these are just fucking horrific. Isolation cell 9. Was ordered to sit in front of a wood cube and interact with it for an indefinite period of time. She claimed that worms started coming out of the cube and filling the room. What? But the image did not show anything as she described. Because it wasn't real, it was in her mind. They put something on his head, or is he staring at underwear? He was ordered to sit on the floor and place a bag over his head for 2 hours? The man only reported dizziness and a slight headache. Subject, why are they putting bags on their heads? 11. He was also ordered to sit on the floor and place a bag over his head, but for 5 hours. He did not survive. The cause of death appeared to be a cardiac arrest. The cells 3, 4, 5, 8, and 10, 2 hours after the test, the following individuals or entities appeared on cameras whose identities could not be determined. Their nature is unknown, but they were likely an effect of the real. Yep, there's one. There's 2. Is that not the girl with the toothpaste eroding her face? That just looks like the mannequin that took her appearance. Or that might be the mannequin that took the appearance. I don't know. Jesus Christ, that's gross. It just looks like she got more teeth than face.
After the tests, the survivors were taken to the annihilation chamber, where they were exposed to the strangest object of the real ever studied.
The annihilation chamber?
The chamber itself.
It looks like it has a mass growing on the floor. Like worms. Or a brain. Oh, it's going day by day and there's more popping up as it goes. Yeah, they're just appearing. Damn. There's reels everywhere now. Looks like they really pissed him off. The Rubo creature, 1995.
The head of the Department of Anomalous Reality Investigation Cases, Dr. Alexander Simmel, presents a new reality anomaly that could potentially constitute another instance of the real. This study commenced with isolated reports in the state of Texas from child psychologists, who, as is customary, find themselves dealing with cases of night terrors, phobias, school adaptation, among others. In the realm of psychology, imaginary friends are regarded as a wholly normal phase in the development of a child's psyche. In fact, it is even beneficial for fostering creativity that children invent beings in their imagination. The descriptions and drawings they create of these unreal entities are sometimes vague, but at other times, exceedingly realistic.
Interesting. Ainsley Prescott, age 35. Provides insight into the behavior of her 6-year-old daughter, Delphine, and shares one of the drawings Delphine drew, I guess. She's always running around in the yard. She says her imaginary friend Sumi is as tall as she is, and that she loves the teddy bear, Ainsley explained. Sometimes I catch her talking to herself in the backyard near a large dollhouse we gifted her. She mentions that she always has something to talk about with Samai. The psychologist assured me that nothing is wrong with it, that she'll grow out of it with time. She'll outgrow it with time, included our drawings by Delphine, including her imaginary friend Sumi. To the left, Sumi, to the right. They're basically one for one, dude. They're basically one for one.
Throughout the year 1994, numerous psychologists, neurologists, and psychiatrists across Texas began to receive a significant influx of patients, all of whom were children, reporting incidents of uncontrollable crying at night, stories of monsters seemingly attacking them in their sleep paralysis, as well as bizarre descriptions of some of their imaginary friends.
So this just seems like just normal nightmares.
Initially, these cases didn't cause much alarm until they started dramatically multiplying throughout the entire state, exhibiting certain commonalities that, according to the scientific perspective, were entirely inexplicable. Between February and November of 1994, only 15 cases with similar or identical characteristics regarding the description of a particular imaginary friend had been recorded. However, it was only between December 1994 and January 1995 that the number surged to 439.
So, I'm assuming because this only went up, this had to be like 10, and then it went up by 5, and then it went up by 5. So it was probably 10, 15, 20, and then fucking 439. I see 7-year-old. It's really big, kind of dark, and it looks out the window every night. Dad says it's just the trash bags. Looks out? Yeah, looks out, not looks in. KR, 6 years old. Mom and Dad never see it. It scares me a lot. When they take out the garbage. What? HT ears. I saw it last night and the last week. I think it wants to tell me something because it always peeps through the window. Oh, peeps. Alright, 7 years old. It has big red eyes. Sometimes my room turns red. The light is different.
The descriptions from the 439 children during the 2 months of sudden increase had the following commonalities: a tall, dark-colored entity, texture resembling a garbage bag, bright, red eyes, lacking hands, emitting a terrifying and highly unusual noise, desperately attempting to enter through windows. None of the parents had seen it, appears to be named Rupo. Some parents took photographs of what the children were pointing to on certain nights as the presence of Rupo. However, these turned out to be nothing more than garbage bags in the backyards of the houses.
Please show me another one. Yeah, why are they stacking their... Bro. Does no one have a trash bin? Does nobody have a trash bin? This bothers me. Just get a bin for trash. Just have a trash bin. Pile it somewhere else. That's such a weird place. Like, hey kid, I'm piling the trash outside your window. I know you like opening your window.
In April 1995, the Fort Worth Neuroimaging Center made the decision to select a group of children for examination using the modern functional magnetic resonance imaging procedure, along with magnetoencephalography and single photon emission computed tomography. The findings resulting from the medical analyses conducted on the children presented an alarming and enigmatic panorama, challenging any conventional explanation. A disconcerting pattern emerged, appearing to impact the occipital lobe and adjacent brain regions, leading to a notably heightened general cerebral activity, surpassing even the levels associated with epileptic episodes. Moreover, anomalies in the form of pointed structures localized within the cranial cavity were identified. Of particular significance is the fact that, in a surprising turn of events, all the children involved in the study maintained a state of vitality. This phenomenon posed an unparalleled enigma within medical practice, as the results seemed to suggest conditions that significantly defied known parameters of life sustenance. These
bizarre biological entities glowing within the carnal cavity. I was gonna say they all had massive tumors, which was weird, and now they have they have what?
observations challenged the very foundations of organic viability
Now
and
they have
presented a
entities in their
formidable
brain.
hurdle to contemporary scientific comprehension.
That's weird that they're not having entities growing in their heads. It went from tumors to aliens. Hallucination spectrum, non-hallucinational spectrum. The hallucinative brain activity when Rupo is remembered is dangerously higher than a normal state of activity recorded by SPECT. That's fucking bizarre, but it's cool. Capturing Rupo.
Following the results of these examinations, the Department of Anomalous Reality Investigation Cases took action and placed 3 houses in San Antonio, 2 in Fort Worth, and 5 in Houston under strict control.
So are this
Various
real
investigative
humanity in their
groups
head?
stayed in each of these houses for a month, hoping to find analog or digital evidence and means to capture any record of this entity. On several occasions, the presence of the children was requested during the initiation of recordings from the window.
The scientists prepared the interiors of the house, equipping them with cameras and sensors. Various scenarios were experimented involving both video and audio with the presence of view or the house empty. Wow!
The outcomes were nothing short of astonishing.
What the fuck? These photographs were taken between August and September 1995. Yeah, it looks like it's hiding in the trash bag. Despite the climatic conditions of the area when a camera was pointed outside, the temperature dropped drastically. Yeah, it literally looks like a giant creature in a bag. Additionally, a large amount of dew droplets fogged both the windows and camera lenses inside the house. That's actually
Despite
really
photographic documentation, capturing the creature proved impossible. In fact, it was only visible through cameras, unlike the children who saw it with their own eyes. Nonetheless, a highly significant piece of evidence for the investigation was the acquisition of an astounding phonographic recording of the noise emitted by Rupo.
A noise? The following recording was made in a house in San Antonio on September 5th, 1995. A strange rhythmic pattern marred the eerie recording its original. It sounded like
This noise was confirmed by the children after hearing it from the computer. After the photographic and phonographic records, the Rupo creature was not seen again.
what the fuck? Spectral analysis. Oh, hold on, let's read that. The spectral analysis of the audio was studied by engineers, and they have determined that the tape effectively recorded the sound coming from outside the house.
Again.
It sounded like something fucking up a trash bag.
And the minors who exhibited cerebral alterations were permanently placed under medical supervision of the department led by Dr. Alexander Simard, awaiting their evolution.
Oh. So did they end up evolving into one of the real, or what happens? The following recording corresponds to the French television recording of Jay visits to Kansas, where he was invited to lecture on the real and the discovery of the Venezuela and Argentinian L school in the Brazilian jungle. The material was properly stored in the radio franchise's hardware due to the internal disruption stuff. Last class of Lucan. Carnes, Venezuela.
En 1980, le docteur Jacques Lacan
In 1980, Dr. Jack Lucan, at the age of 80, made one of his few trips to
à l'âge de 80 ans, est
Curiously, it is in that part of the world where his work has had the most significant impact. The Fronderan Field Foundation invited him to attend their annual Congress in July as a unique opportunity. Just 1 year before his death, to deliver his final speech regarding his fundamentals on the real. So he died a year after, damn. Due to his evident poor health, delivering a lecture like the real one's well known for his seminators, edited by Jack Allen Miller, provided to be quite challenging. Nevertheless, it was testimony opportunity to bring his teachings, which left so many questions and opened so many doors for further researchers to close. His inaugural speech marked the beginning of 4 days, most with full auditoriums, where each speaker had the attendance of the renowned French philanthropist. During this gathering, which was attended by renowned philanthropists such as Dr. Rabin Vinci, which made to resolve the last major question surrounding the concept of the real. Which until then had it remained unproven. However, Jack Locus was in for a great surprise during the final presentation by members of the Federal Field Foundation in collaboration with scientists from Venezuela, Argentina, and Brazil. So they had a surprise. Matthew recounted to the French philanthropist the expedition that took place in the Brazilian Amazon in 1997. Together with a group of scientists, students, and members of the foundation, they ventured to the untamed wilderness in search of a particular place that has been studied by the indigenous group. They refer to this place as Perito, I can't say that, a mythological sanctuary of mythological deity. Deity of Macumba related to the underworld. The sanctuary was kind of a large pond with black bubbling water, in which a vast number of exotic animals had submerged. The indigenous people mentioned that in this pond something inexplicable was always seen. Was it like death? Something on which no one ever agreed. They called it transmutation. The Foundation's experiments members decided to take some samples from this pond and study it, believing it could be a manifestation of the real. So we have, I thought those were like frogs, but they all look like rocks with some like fish. Diverse objects extracts. Different objects extracted from the black water well. They waited until the following year to present it explicitly to Dr. Jack at the end of the lectures, basically. On July 15th, during the last session of the conference, Beck's team brought a large metal box to one of the rooms containing the samples obtained from the waters in the Amazon. Due to the significance of this unexpected appearance, it was decided to hold the grand closure in the Foundation's main hall, where Dr. Lucan was invited to observe the contents of the box. I thought it was into the box. I'm illiterate. Inside there was a vast sample of the pond's continents. Worms, over time a certain form of life had approximately grew inside of it. At least that's what Dr. Jack mentioned seeing. After another observed that the water was turning silver with small pebbles that seemed to float. It said I like an octopus doctor spent 30 minutes examining one of the species. Matthews presented. So he presented that stuff to the people while he was explaining the stuff. While he was looking, I should say. The origin transcript of his final speech was in the possession of the French group Staff for years. Alan Miller, responsible for compiling Lucas's work, considered including it in seminars. However, despite his decision to incorporate it as the closing speech of the seminar, along with the last classes of the French philanthropist, the staff group did not agree to grant the rights. That's weird. This is just another legal. Wait, hold on. Upon the Committee of Investigation by the Department of Anomalous Reality Investigation, Dr. Alexander Seminard authorized the classification by military bodies of the transcription of Jack's final speech, which was kept in a safe deposit box at 5. In Paris. So he kept it in. When he kept a transcript of it in Paris. Final speech of Dr. Luke resembles below, which moreover serves as one of the major pieces of evidence for the confirmation of the existence of the real as an interpretation in everyday life. This material furthermore gave rise to what would later be established as the Clinic of the Real, headed by Jack Miller and Gilmore Lopez.
In the same way I mentioned in my inaugural speech, that 80 years of my life have passed for me to come to Latin America, especially here in Venezuela, to share my latest findings with my most loyal, but hitherto unknown students has been a momentous experience. This is not the closing speech I had originally planned, because after the memorable and highly significant presentation by Dr. Matthias de Souza Bruckner, I am truly astonished. It is necessary to make a turn in my final presentation. You, who are here, have clearly witnessed that my research work on what I have termed the register of the real has been, even for myself, a shocking reality, to use a redundancy. The Mobius position of the phenomenon that Dr. Souza Bruckner has exposed encapsulates the most significant of my topological propositions, which, as you already know, have marked the final shift in my classes. I have been brought here, from the depths of the wildest Brazil, a substance that Dr. Diana Rabinovich had already proposed certain conjectures about in terms of the characteristics of Euler-Poincaré's surfaces. However, I must say that here we are in the presence of what I have called an intricacy of jouissance of a Riemann surface. Let us see how this object, apparently so simple, liquid, and obscure, is capable of eliciting the most varied experiences when symbolically apprehended in what I call the register of the imaginary, from the alienated image to the perforated discourse of the social, as crossed by the first signifier within the toric figure. I have noticed that, just as I have seen it, here is a figure with a pair of eyes. However, some have attested in this very container silver and gold gemstones. A couple of students have disagreed with my word and yours, arguing that what they have seen on this stage are nothing more than books with red covers. This is precisely what I have theorized throughout my life. The real. It is that plane of Mobius surfaces that can access this symbolic plane outside of the same sociocultural symbol. At my age and with my health condition, my intellect will not allow me to advance in the delineations of this topological phenomenon. I have left the progress of my theory in capable hands. Thank you very much for your dedication to this Congress dedicated to the discussion of my work. Be diligent in your investigations. I will declare not only this grand event, but also my own school devoted to the register of the real closed.
And then when that's it. Okay, so it ended. It's not. I don't need you to like die on me because you're gonna do that.
My
Alright. So that was the real. That was actually okay. So originally, when I watched the first 4 minutes of it, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool of a concept. You know, mannequins can come to life. But so it's more of just it's like a tulpa basically. Our imagination can manifest things that we see. So like the kids were afraid of these trash bags and were manifesting these creatures in because they thought they were seeing monsters, and then they actually were because they were manifesting it. So it all had to do with the imagination. But the realm was just, or technically the real was just the realm of imaginations, which I thought was cool because some people have really dark imaginations and fantasies, and other people have really tame and calm and simple ones. So it was cool because there's like people getting murdered, and then there's other people who are just chilling with the reals because they're not thinking about that, which makes sense. So it basically was just becoming a tulpa at that point. If you don't know what a tulpa is, it's just manifesting something into reality, which the real was doing. So yeah, I don't know. I like the concept. It's already plays on a real concept. New series coming soon. So yeah, I don't really have an outro besides that. So have a good day, good night, or good afternoon, and I'll hope to see you in the next one.